morning. My name is Paramjeet Sandhu, and I am a second grade teacher at Emery Park Elementary, and I want to welcome all of you to my staff development presentation today, this day in August 14th. I hope everybody had a great summer vacation and we're ready to get back into the swing of things with our classes. The agenda for the staff development topic for today is really exciting, and it's something that I'm extremely passionate about. And so what we're going to be talking about today is social and emotional learning. And in particular, I'm going to be discussing some strategies that you can bring into your classroom, with the main one being bringing in community service or community work into the classroom. So as I am looking around, I see a lot of confused faces as to what exactly is social and emotional learning. So I'm going to go ahead and start my presentation with a very quick definition. Social and emotional learning, or in other words known as SEL, S-E-L, are basically a set of abilities that allow our students to help work with each other. There are a set of abilities that allow for our students to learn more effectively, and also they teach our students skills that help to serve them as essential roles in their families and in their communities. Now, some of you still look confused, so let me bring in some real-life situations, because I know that having worked here with you guys for many years, a lot of you guys are already using SEL techniques and you may not even know it. So just by a raise of hand, how many of you guys have groupings going on in the classroom? For example, kids working in groups of 2 or pair sharing with all of the Common Core. Okay, I see half that group right there all raising their hand. How many of you guys have groupings of 4 or groupings of 6 throughout the day? Well, guess what? That is a SEL technique. It's a technique that promotes students working with others. And how many of you guys have older age students or older students coming into your classroom to help your kids with their reading? Okay, I see a few hands over there. That's also a SEL technique, and that technique is cross-age learning. So we are all engaged in some point into the social and emotional, it's interlinked into our everyday curriculum, and we just don't know it. But we need to add more of it into areas that we never thought that we could accomplish. And the one area that I'm going to focus on today, the one strategy that I'm going to focus on today, is promoting community work into our classroom. And this is going to promote the one character trait that our kids really need to have, and you can teach this, and this is a trait called empathy. Okay, I never thought I could involve my second graders in community work. I just felt like, okay, no, I don't have time. I don't have time to keep continuing getting permission slips to take my kids on field trips that we have no money for. How am I going to get my students out there? But what I've learned through SEL research is that you can actually bring the community into the classroom to promote a sense of community into your students. And so basically, I will give you some practical ideas on how to do that. So why do we want to do this? So a little bit more about SEL. SEL is a process that helps our children. It's going to also help our children manage their emotions. These are SEL skills that are going to help them become critical thinkers, becoming good students, citizens, and workers. And cell is also a learning that is challenging, engaging, and as in bringing in community work, it's actually making learning meaningful for them. Okay? Now you guys are saying, I think a lot of you have tuned me off because you're probably thinking, yes, community work is great, but where do I find the idea, or where do I find the time in my busy schedule? Believe it or not, you can interlink community work, and especially some of the ideas that I'm going to talk to you about this afternoon, into your everyday academic subject areas. For example, in social studies, you can stress the importance of community, and you can start off, like say for example with second graders, you can start off this talk on what do you want to be when you want to grow up, why do you want to do this, and have lots of oral discussions on these things, and then you can end it with bringing members of the community, the parents, involving the parents into the classroom as a final culminating activity. So that's one thing that you could do to promote community. And this can be part of your social studies. Or if you do the project that I'm going to specifically talk to you about, like cooking or making toys or biscuits for animals, you could tie that in with some of your math lessons. So don't do anything that's going to take extra time, but just we have to learn to tie in the social and emotional learning skills with our everyday academic areas. And in doing so, we're making learning more engaging and meaningful for our students. And of course, everything can be done in the classroom through the cell techniques. And then if you want to end it with a field trip to your local humane society or to the post office or the local retirement homes, that can be arranged as well. Why do we want to involve our students in community work? Teaching and engaging our students in community gives them a sense of pride. Community projects can easily be accomplished in the classroom, like I said, like we can write letters to the folks in the retirement homes that are lonely, and a beautiful letter from one of the students will make their day. Or you could make biscuits or toys for our four-legged friends in our community. These are all different ideas. Community work also places a strong emphasis on the development of our children's character. Children will inherit these social roles now occupied by the adults, so the kids need to know about the community around them. And just as just as doctors, surgeons perform surgery, it is also the doctor's job to offer advice, how to have a better lifestyle, better eating habits, and especially for someone they perform surgery on, the doctors need to see those same patients over again for therapy, clinical observations, for what have you. So as teachers, we're not just here to just teach our kids about math and science and give them a test and then either pass them or fail them and then tell them to come back next year to say hi to us. Our job is also to prepare them for being responsible citizens. We have to prepare them for being functioning, working citizens of the community that they will be a part of one day. All of these are the jobs of a teacher. So it's so the social and emotional learning actually fits into the missing piece of the academic learning. When you tie those two together, I think we have a well-balanced student. Okay, and so basically, yeah, social emotional learning is our missing piece in our education system. As author Elias noted in her research, How to Bring Community, she states that SEL represents a part of education that links academic knowledge with a specific set of skills important to success in schools, families, communities, workplaces, and life in general. So basically, SEL in a nutshell, SEL helps our students make an easier transition into adulthood. It can start as early as pre-kindergarten, and it can go up until 12th grade until they're ready to go on into the bigger world all around them. So we've talked a lot about the importance of community work, and now I want to just talk a little bit about actual practical things you can take back into your classroom, because I know that that's what we're all looking for, are easy ways that we can promote community through self-learning. So the one thing you can have your students do starting tomorrow is you can bring in a jar or a vase or something and have the kids vote on a charity that they want to collect money for. It could be kids with cancer or leukemia or kids who are disabled. For whatever reason, have them decide on the charity and then have them collect coins, and that can be a very easy passive activity where the kids can just put coins in, and you can even pick a different charity each month, or you could have concentrate on one charity for the whole year, and you could add it on with writing. For example, if you pick the Children's Hospital as your charity, you can have your students also write letters for those kids. You could link it with art by having your students make pictures for the kids, and then of course the money that you collect, you can either use it to buy videos or toys for the kids or give it directly to the hospital. The kids are still learning. You can even have activities you can set this up as a center and have kids count coins once a day or once a week and see how much they have collected so far. So they're having a basic everyday skills that they're learning. So the learning is a lot more meaningful to them. Another thing you could do is have your kids simply recycle. It's hot, it's August, the weather is scorching, and I know a lot of my kids are bringing in their water bottles. They're just throwing them away in the trash when they're done with them. Perhaps you could just set aside a special trash can and just have your kids put all their water bottles in the trash can, and maybe you as the teacher can take it to the recycling bin and whatever money that they've earned with it. Okay, so continuing on, I want to share, or I want to propose a community service idea that would involve our entire school here at Emery Park, something I'm very, very passionate about, and I'm willing to take the lead on it, but I need help from all of you, and you're going to need help from all of your students, and it's going to be fun, engaging, challenging, and meaningful. So the project that I have set to do for school-wide is having our students make toys and biscuits for our local humane society. I am a regular volunteer there, and they are always looking for people, or they're always looking for toys for their cats, treats for their dogs, and other things. So we can actually bring the Humane Society into the classroom. Some very easy tasks that you can have your kids do inside the classroom is one, you could make, have your kids make dog treats. All we're gonna need is flour, and we can even ask parents to donate minimal supplies. For the dog treats, all we need is flour, milk, salt, ice water, and a little bit of brown sugar. Now the neat thing about having your kids make dog treats in the classroom is you could tie it in with your measurement and math. Modify it to the level that your kids are at. For example, I know second graders have a unit on measurement, on half a cup, 1 cup, and this asks for specific. The recipe that I will provide for you is a specific recipe for 1 batch. So if you want to challenge your kids, you can say, okay, for today's assignment, kids, you're going to make 2 batches. So if 1 batch asks for 2.5 cups, how many are 2 batches of cookies going to require of the flour? And they will have to do some calculating. So that can be a part of your measurement unit, and you can modify it for any grade level. And we're all, as teachers, we're all very good at doing that. Another project you can decide to do if you don't want to do baking or baking in your classroom, and you wouldn't even have to bake, you just have to make the treats, and then I would take them to our lounge to bake it in the oven. Another thing you can have your students do is make pet beds. I know and this takes minimal supplies. All they need to bring in, perhaps you can have each child bring in 1 old towel, and just make sure that they have it washed. And I got this filling that can fill lots of beds, and this was like $2.99 at House of Fabric down the street. And you can also have certain parents donate filling for you. And this is a great project, I know, for you 4th grade teachers out there, because it ties in with your colonial living, where they had the people had to make certain things like this as part of their everyday lives, as making pillows and beds. The parents had to make it for their children, and you can have the kids make it for the dogs. You just fold the towel and put the stuffing inside. And I know that you 4th grade teachers are working with needles and thread, and all they would have to do is stitch this together and stitch this together, and then you have a cute, nice bed for your animal friends at the shelter. Another project that you could do is make cat toys, and all it requires are old socks. All you have to do is put a piece of catnip inside, and then tie the sock in a knot, and that's it. You're done. And you can either attach a string to it, and the cat will just go crazy playing over this. Your students will feel great about making these. You can even have a contest as to how many cat toys each child can make. You can have the kids do it even as an early finisher activity, or you can have them do it as extra credit at home. There's so many things that you could do with this. And another one for you bunny lovers out there is you can just have kids recycle old containers. All you have to do is put soil in it and throw in some alfalfa seeds, and once that starts to grow, you've got a bunny garden for the bunnies. So I will be more than happy to talk to each of you to discuss which one of these projects, or maybe you want to work on 1 or 2 or all 4, or maybe you have some ideas of your own that you want to share with me. And I will be in charge of the baking of the biscuits, and also taking the goodies into the Humane Society, because I'm there regularly anyways. A nice culminating activity that we can have is I talked to the local Humane Society, and they said that they can bring in some of the dogs. They can bring in some of their service dogs, that some dogs that they have known to have extra wonderful personalities with the kids, and the kids can actually meet some of the animals that they are helping. So What is this going to do? This is going to teach our kids that they are a part of the community. It is going to teach them math skills. It's going to teach them social studies skills. It's going to teach them how to focus, how to follow directions by doing recipes. And most of all, they're going to feel good about themselves. And because they know they are doing something for those that are less needy, they will start to feel empathy. And that is a trait that will take them far. And I just want to end my presentation today with some words of wisdom from late writer and civil rights activist Maya Angelou, who so eloquently said, "When you get, give, and when you learn, teach." I hope this staff development presentation was of some help to you. I hope you feel as passionate about it as I do. And you know where you can find me should you have any questions. And for our next meeting, we can talk about which classroom is going to work on which project. And I think the kids will be super excited. And I think this is something that they will never forget. Thank you so much for joining me today.